Do not go gentle into that good night.
We expect their conversation to be wide-ranging, to cover a range of topics of mutual interest, everything from COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic to regional security issues, which could include...
Thank you all very much, and thank the press for being here. We're going to go private now.
Mr. President, if Americans are still in Afghanistan now,
A question on the public response. A new poll out today shows Americans wanted to withdraw from Afghanistan, but they disapprove of the way you've handled it. The poll also found that based in part on what's transpired in the last week, a majority of Americans, and forgive me, I'm just the messenger, no longer consider you to be competent, focused, or effective in the job.
I haven't seen that poll.
It's out there from CBS this morning. What would you say?
I can't tell you with any certitude that there's actually been a list of names. I know there may have been, but I know of no circumstance. It doesn't mean didn't exist. That here's the names of 12 people, they're coming, let them through. It could very well have happened. I'll take one more question. That's why, by the way, it happens to be in Asia for me right now, but that's why we have a female vice president of the United States of America we're going to have some presidents pretty soon.
Someone in our audience might listen to you, Mr. Secretary, and say, oh, so we have to ask the Taliban for permission for American citizens to leave. True or not true?
They are in control of Kabul. That is the reality. That's the reality that we have to deal with.
How comfortable are you with that, Mr. Secretary?
And just one more. How many individuals on terror watch lists have been screened or found at any of the screening points, either in Qatar, Ramstein, or in the U.S.?
I don't know. We'll have to take that question and get back to you. Nazir.
Thank you, John. Thank you, General.
If you want to work for us in person, you've got to be there and get vaccinated. And I think that's a good thing. I know I respect people's freedom, but when you're talking about a public health crisis that we've been going through now for well over a year and a half, the time has come. Enough is enough. We've just got to get people vaccinated.
Look, human beings do well when they have carrot and stick. So a mandate helps people to realize it's time.
The family of BBC Radio Newcastle presenter Lisa Shaw say she died after suffering blood clots just over a week after receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine. The 44-year-old from County Durham died last Friday.
The statements released in the last hour says she fell seriously ill after having the vaccine. Our correspondent Helen Carnell is with us now. Helen, what more have Lisa's family said?
Well, relatives have said that Lisa developed severe headaches a week after receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine and then became severely ill a few days later. She died at Newcastle's RVI last Friday afternoon, having been treated in intensive care for blood clots and bleeding.
Fox 12. Starting Friday, people in Oregon ages 5 and up will be required to wear face coverings in outdoor public places where physical distancing is not possible. That is regardless of vaccination status. A mask mandate for indoor gatherings is already in effect. Portland's Providence Park is requiring masks in all areas starting today. That is in addition to proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test. If you're going to tonight's match between the Thorns and Gotham FC, remember, bring that mask.
Of concern, the 12 areas that the government is worried about, they will be able to leave their home for 1 hour of recreation. That's on top of exercise. So they'll be able to go out, have a picnic, and that's just 5 people. All have to be vaccinated. Those people outside the LGAs of concern in Greater Sydney, 5 people can now gather outside only if they are vaccinated. They'll need a little bit of clarity on that. We're sort of wondering whether you could have people over to your house if they were in your backyard. I'm not too sure that's the case, but certainly people can go out on picnics and there's a little bit more freedom there as they move out and about. Gladys Berejiklian is still pointing to the 70% threshold of vaccines, where she says things will really start to reopen, but only to those people who are vaccinated. Here's the Premier.
When you start opening at 70%, there are certain activities only vaccinated people can do. Because we know that whilst a certain proportion of the population is unvaccinated, that poses a risk to too many people. So for that reason, we're asking industry to dust off their COVID safety plans, get the QR codes in check, and we're also working on an app in New South Wales that will allow you to sign into a venue, but also have proof of your vax all in one to make it as simple as possible.
The Edmonton Oilers becoming the latest Canadian sports team to announce a proof of vaccine policy for fans and staff. 6 NHL and 7 CFL teams are doing the same so far, and that may create a snowball effect in other industries.
As we see bigger organizations announce vaccine passports, that we'll start to see smaller businesses take these up, and I think it certainly could become the norm.
Well, businesses will take a lead in regard to voicing their support for it because they'll feel that it's a way to get people back to their businesses.
They can download that information and then apply it to whatever venue they want to enter.
Meanwhile, BC became the 3rd province to adopt a proof of vaccine card, joining Quebec and Manitoba. But the Alberta government has said they have no intention to mandate vaccine passports. That inaction could create issues.
And so when the government isn't the one making policy, the possibility is that the policy that's made in their absence will be one that has concerns with privacy or with discrimination.
Whatever your government decides to inject inside of you, and if you refuse, then you won't be allowed to buy food, and you won't be allowed to travel.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice, but don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
Oh my God, there's no need for this! There's no need for this! Get off him! What the f***? You just assaulted me! Stop it! Nobody's touching me! We're not touching you! We're not touching you! Hey, you're not, nobody's touching you! Get off her! Let me pass. She's squealing. Who's squealing? Daniel, you're all right. It's all right. Daniel, it's okay. It's okay. No, really? Leave him! Let her f***ing pass.
Your name has been battered about on the internet, but you've never been officially, publicly identified. Do you want to tell us who you are?
My name is Michael Byrd. I'm a lieutenant for the United States Capitol Police.
For months, he has lived in hiding, he says, over this moment. His decision to use deadly force against a rioter as she climbed through a barricaded door that leads to the House chamber.
I believe I showed the utmost courage on January 6th. There was reports of shots fired through the House main door onto the floor of the chamber.
Later, those reports would prove to be false.
She was posing a threat to United States House of Representatives.
שלום לדוקטור קובי חביב, הוא מנכ"ל המרכז הרפואי הרצוג.
שלום סיוון.
ורק נזכור, אני מבינה שמרבית החולים מחוסנים, גם החולים הקשים.
מטבע הדברים, אנשים מבוגרים רובם מחוסנים, רוב האוכלוסייה מחוסנת, ולכן כ-90%, 85-90% מאושפזים אצלנו הם חולים שעברו את חיסון באופן מלא. כן, החיסון לצערי, כמו שמדברים, היעילות שלו מתפוגגת, יש כבר התפרצויות בבתי חולים, חולה אחד מדביק מספר רב של אנשים, זה לא פה ושם, וכמו שדיברנו מקודם, היעילות של החיסון ממש מתפוגגת.
Rage, rage against the dying of the light.